The front door swung open with that familiar creak, and my duffel bag slid off my shoulder onto the hardwood floor. 3 grueling weeks in Colorado Springs helping Aunt Clara recover from her hip surgery had drained every ounce of energy I had left. All I craved was the thundering welcome of Buddy, my golden retriever's whole body wiggle. The way his tail whipped like a propeller, his wet nose pressing into my palm as if saying the world was right again because I was home. Instead, silence pressed in like a heavy fog. The house felt unnaturally still, the air thick with unspoken tension. I stepped into the living room and found my parents seated rigidly on the couch, their postures too perfect, like actors frozen mid-scene. Dad's fingers tapped an erratic rhythm on his knee. Mom forced a smile that never reached her eyes. "Welcome back, Jordan," Mom said, her gaze darting toward the window. "Where's Buddy?" The question escaped sharper than intended, my voice echoing slightly in the quiet space. My stomach twisted into knots as the absence sank in. No excited barks. No furry blur racing down the hallway. Dad cleared his throat, shifting uncomfortably. "Jordan, we need to talk about this." My pulse quickened. "Where is my dog?" "We sold him," Dad stated flatly, as if discussing the weather. "Got $300 from a nice family up in Albuquerque." The room spun. My knees weakened, and I gripped the doorframe to steady myself. "You." "What?" The words felt foreign. Impossible. Buddy wasn't just a pet. He was my anchor, the one constant that never judged or demanded more than I could give. Mom jumped in quickly, her tone defensive. "He was too much. Honey." Always scratching at doors, shedding everywhere. It was for the best. Flashbacks hit me like punches. 9 months earlier, I'd walked into that shelter on the outskirts of Phoenix, the concrete floors cold under my sneakers, chain-link kennels echoing with barks. Buddy had pressed his golden body against the fence, soulful brown eyes locking onto mine as if he'd been waiting his whole life for this moment. "You chose me," I'd whispered, slipping my fingers through the wires to feel his soft muzzle. That night, I'd brought him home despite Dad's explosion. "You live under our roof. You don't just decide these things," Mom had echoed. "Get your own place if you want a pet." I'd fought tooth and nail. 2 jobs, morning office admin, nights pumping gas to cover his food, vet bills, training classes. Buddy's head on my knee during late study sessions, his steady warmth at my feet while I slept. His eager sit-stay shake, perfected with endless patience. He was the only living being who looked at me with pure trust. Never disappointment. "You had no right," I whispered now, throat tightening. "I paid you $40 a day to watch him. Detailed instructions, everything." Dad's voice rose. "You left him with us for 3 weeks. What did you expect? We have lives too." The call about Aunt Clara's fall had come suddenly. No one else in the family could step up. Cousins had work. Excuses. Boarding kennels were booked solid for spring break. Desperate, I'd slid the cash across the kitchen table. "Just 3 weeks. Please." Mom had pocketed it with a dramatic sigh. "Fine. This once." My daily check-in calls from Colorado Springs grew clipped. "He's fine. Stop worrying." Then silence the final week, straight to voicemail. I should have driven back immediately. "Give me their information," I demanded, hands shaking. The family in Albuquerque. Mom and Dad exchanged glances. It was cash. "We don't have it." They seemed nice. Rage and grief collided in my chest. "You sold my dog to strangers and didn't keep records? Liars, your story doesn't even match." I backed away, heart hammering. That night, after their bedroom door clicked shut, I powered up Dad's computer in the den. Fingers flew through emails. Trash folder yielding the truth. Correspondence with the buyers. Their address in Albuquerque, not some vague Flagstaff tale. Gratitude notes. Even. I packed silently. Clothes, savings book, Buddy's leash. Dawn found me rolling my suitcase past the kitchen where Dad stood in his robe. Coffee mug paused midair. Where do you think you're going? To find my dog. Keys clutched tight. I met his eyes without flinching. The interstate stretched dark and endless as I drove through the night. Headlights slicing the void. 5 hours to Albuquerque. My knuckles whitened on the wheel. I'll find you, Buddy. I promise. Tears blurred the road, but I let them fall. Memories flooded, Buddy curling against me during thunderstorms, nudging me from overwork, positioning protectively when Dad's voice sharpened.
No one had the right to take that from me.
Morning light broke as I reached the modest adobe-style house with desert landscaping. I parked across the street, dozing fitfully, watching lights flicker on. A man retrieved the paper, eyeing my car curiously. Hours dragged. 9 a.m. 11 a.m. Courage built with each minute. At noon, I crossed the street, finger hovering on the doorbell. The chime rang inside. A woman about my age answered, toddler on her hip clutching a toy truck. Can I help you? I'm Jordan Hayes. You bought my dog last week, golden retriever. About a year old. My father sold him. Her expression shifted from polite to concerned. Your dog. He said they were downsizing. No room for pets anymore. I laughed bitterly. I was caring for my aunt after surgery. Paid them to watch him. Oh my God. She paled, stepping aside. Come in. The house smelled of fresh coffee and crayons. Toys scattered like colorful landmines. She called her husband to take the child, then led me to the backyard. Under a mesquite tree, golden fur gleamed in the sun.
Buddy.
Buddy. His head snapped up. Ears alert. He froze. Then bolted, a golden streak of pure joy slamming into my legs. I dropped to my knees, face buried in his fur as he whimpered. Licked. Tail a blur. I found you, I whispered, voice breaking. The weight lifted. I could breathe again. The woman watched, eyes glistening. He's wonderful. Take him. She accepted reimbursement reluctantly, clipping the leash. I drove away with Buddy's head heavy in my lap. Reality crashed in. Nowhere to go. Parents' house was closed forever. Bank account thin. Night fell. Stars emerging as I pulled into a roadside motel advertising, pets welcome. The room reeked of cleaner and stale smoke, but Buddy circled protectively before curling beside me on the sagging bed. I had my dog back, but everything else was gone. 3 weeks later, my savings had dwindled dangerously. Buddy's dinner from the last $20 left me hungry, his tail swishing contentedly as he ate from a plastic bowl on the motel carpet. The manager's warning echoed. Check out tomorrow. We'll figure it out. Buddy, I murmured, scratching his ears while my stomach growled. Amber, my oldest friend since middle school, answered after 4 rings. I need a place to crash. Just a few days. Silence stretched. You still have that dog? I'll keep him in the car. Rick's allergic. But please, credit cards max. 3 days max. Dog stays outside. Night temperatures dipped into the 40s. Buddy slept bundled in the Civic's back seat under every blanket I owned while I curled on Amber's couch. Rick's impatient glances on day 3 said enough. I walked Buddy before dawn. Applications flying to 17 apartments, all demanding deposits.
Pet fees.
Pristine credit.
No callbacks.
Income was critical. The corner coffee shop hired me instantly, $5 an hour plus tips for mornings. Not much, but something. Evenings at the loading dock paid $10 under the table. The foreman sized up my frame skeptically. Sure you're up for hauling boxes? I lifted a 50-pounder easily. Stronger than I look. Rhythm emerged. Park behind the coffee shop at 5 a.m. Work till 1. Nap in the car till 6 p.m. Dock shift. Work till 2 a.m. Find safe parking.
Repeat.
Muscles burned constantly. The Civic filled with the sour scent of unwashed clothes and dog. Weekly motel splurges bought showers. Grocery runs meant counting pennies for dog food. Buddy's stomach had been sensitive since Albuquerque. So premium kibble won over my own apple. 6 weeks in, a bulletin board card caught my eye at the coffee shop. Room for rent. $300 per month. Utilities included. The Craftsman house had peeling paint but solid bones. A silver-haired landlady eyed Buddy warily upon opening the door. Ad didn't mention pets. He's quiet. Housebroken. I'll pay 60 extra. She studied us. Living in your car? I nodded. First and last month's rent up front. Dog off furniture. The room was tiny, a twin mattress. One window facing a brick wall. Closet door hanging crooked, but it had a lock and floor space for Buddy beside me. That first night, we explored cautiously. Buddy sniffed every corner before settling protectively at my feet. Staring at the unfamiliar ceiling, listening to his breathing. I whispered, "We made it." Sleep came deep for the first time in weeks. Daily rituals formed. Sunrise neighborhood walks. Coffee shop shift. Quick lunch from my cooler. Dock work. Shared dinner in our room. Exhaustion became baseline. Shoulder aches constant. But Buddy's bowl stayed full, and we had a roof. A receptionist opening at Tri-State Logistics offered $3 more per hour. I interviewed in my best outfit. Dog hair meticulously removed. Customer service experience? 2 years at a cafe during college. No mention of recent homelessness. Organized. Fast learner.
Hired.
Trading 2 part-time gigs for 1 full-time brought regular hours. Benefits. Precious time with Buddy awake. Ethan from accounting noticed dog hair on my sweater 3rd week in. Tall. Salt and pepper at 35 despite youth. Golden retriever? How'd you know? Have a beagle named Luna. Rescue. He showed photos of the floppy-eared dog. Conversations grew over coffee breaks. I shared the shelter adoption carefully, omitting betrayal details. One Friday, want to meet Luna at the dog park this weekend? You and Buddy. Sunday. Tails wagged tentatively before they raced across grass. Ethan stood close. Never said how you ended up at that shelter. His lack of judgment loosened something. I told a full story. Aunt Clara. The sale. Retrieval. Homelessness. Ethan's face darkened. Unforgivable. You found him anyway. That's what counts. I laughed genuinely for the first time in months. We held hands walking out. Dogs ahead, already bonded. Years blurred into stability. Ethan and I married quietly. Buddy served as ring bearer in his bow tie. Our son Tyler arrived first. Then daughter Mia, Buddy gentle and patient with tiny hands tugging his fur. He was graying around the muzzle now, moving slower, but his eyes still lit with recognition. The Facebook ping shattered peace one ordinary evening while loading the dishwasher. 7 years of silence from my parents. Mom's message. Saw photos of the kids on Lisa's profile. They're beautiful. We'd love to meet our grandchildren. My lungs seized. Walls closed in.
Buddy.
Now arthritic. Sensed distress and refused to leave my side. Ethan appeared. You okay? You look pale. They found us. For days. The message loomed. I rehearsed responses. Blocked platforms preemptively. Alerted family against sharing more photos. Consulted our lawyer. The call Tuesday evening carried funeral-like weight. Kids safely at Ethan's mom's. Dad answered first ring. Good to hear your voice. Minimal details offered. 6 minutes in. Tone shifted. We've been patient. Most grandparents wouldn't wait years. You left us no choice with the dog, Dad added. 3 weeks was too much. His name is Buddy, I said, old fury rising. He's been family over a decade. Mom's voice turned sharp. Still holding that grudge? You have children now. We have rights, grandparent rights. Courts recognize. The word courts landed like a blow. I ended the call abruptly. Ethan held me silently. Buddy pressed his gray muzzle to my leg. Within hours, additional cameras installed. Private accounts for school photos created. The unexpected box arrived weeks later, postmarked from my hometown. No warning. Ethan offered to open it. I sliced the tape. A handmade quilt unfolded, soft blues and golds. Golden retrievers stitched meticulously. One square capturing Buddy's white chest patch and bent ear perfectly. A card. Freely given. No strings. Tears fell despite anger. Mom's arthritis must have pained every stitch. She remembered his collar detail. Ethan asked if we'd respond. Simple acknowledgement. I printed one photo. Buddy sprawled with kids using him as pillow, and mailed thanks without signature.
No immediate backlash.
For the first time in years, thoughts of my parents didn't twist my gut. Dad's letter arrived next. 3 pages of blue cursive. We didn't just sell your dog. We betrayed you. Punished you. I'm sorry. First apology in 28 years. He detailed therapy after the rights threat backfired. Realizations of jealousy over my trust in Buddy, never given to him since childhood. Planned cruelty while I was away. No demands for forgiveness or visits. Just raw truth. I read it repeatedly. Sting fading. First video call followed. Neutral topics. Then Dad asked genuinely, "How's Buddy? Must be getting up there." Arthritis slowing him. But he loves short walks. Park meetings arranged, neutral ground. 1 hour. Gifts sent with permission. Third visit. Buddy joined. Dad knelt. Offered hand. Buddy sniffed, then gave a single tail wag. Acknowledgement. Not full forgiveness. Building something new from honesty felt fragile, yet real. Boundaries stayed firm. Their approach remained cautious. He saved me, I told them one afternoon watching Buddy sunbathe. Not just retrieving him, every day. Mom nodded. Eyes damp. Dad stared at his hands. Scars transform. They map journeys. Buddy turned 10 years, 8 months. Golden coat dulled. Movements deliberate. Walks shortened from miles to street length. Prescription bottles line the counter. Arthritis meds. Heart support. Kidney supplements. Ethan joked Buddy had better health care than us. Tyler. 7. Read the pill schedule aloud mornings. Mia.
5.
Refilled his water bowl on tiptoes. 3 months prior. Dad volunteered driving to Buddy's cardiology appointment when Ethan couldn't. Mom baked gluten-free dog biscuits, small olive branches accepted gratefully. The Tuesday Buddy refused breakfast hit hard. Water untouched. By evening, he couldn't lift his head. Ethan found me midnight on the kitchen floor. Buddy's head in my lap. It's time. Family council morning. Tyler's face crumpled, but he nodded solemnly. Mia asked if dogs go to heaven. I said love like Buddy's doesn't vanish. Vet arrived autumn afternoon, golden light filtering windows. We gathered on his favorite faded blanket, smelling faintly of that first motel. Luna lay still beside him, muzzle to paw. Ethan held Mia, Tyler at tail. I cradled Buddy's head. Vet explained gently, no pain.
Just peace.
Buddy's eyes met mine one final time, same soulful shelter gaze from 11 years ago. Breathing slowed.
Stopped.
Sacred silence followed. Next morning knock. Parents on porch. Dad carried hand-carved wooden box with paw prints. For his collar, anything you want to keep. Mom unpacked lasagna, chicken, rolls in kitchen. Dad took kids to park unasked, giving space to grieve. Evening dinner. Mom reached across taking my hand, first genuine touch in over a decade. Tell me about him. What was he like when you first found him? Stories flowed. Terror a vacuum. Sock hiding habit. Puddle swimming. Dad's laughter broke through tears at Ethan's mailman anecdote. 2 weeks later. Phantom sounds lingered, nail clicks. Collar jingle. Tyler placed dandelions under the maple where Buddy napped. Luna searched rooms before settling. Mom's quilt now hangs prominently. Golden Labs eternally mid-play. Each adoption anniversary. We donate to the Phoenix shelter. Losing Buddy taught love arrives unexpectedly. Betrayal strikes closest. Healing builds anew from remnants, not forgetting, but transforming pain into strength. The question lingers in quiet moments. What defines family? Blood that wounds? Or chosen bonds that endure? Buddy's legacy lives in our rituals. The cautious bridge with my parents. The way my children learn compassion through care. Some wounds scar permanently, mapping resilience. In the end, trust rebuilt slowly proves more enduring than what was lost. The narrative ends leaving an lingering ethical echo on forgiveness, family betrayal, and the redemptive power of unconditional love from pets amid human imperfection.